Today marks 1,000 days of Jimmy Lai, a British citizen and a vocal critic of the Chinese Communist Party, being detained. The 75-year-old, who founded the pro-democracy newspaper Apple Daily, faces a possible life sentence in Hong Kong under the national security law. Campaigners are appealing to the British government to call for his release. Earlier I spoke with Khoo from the Committee for Freedom in Hong Kong Foundation.
So hi Megan, it's good to speak with you. Jimmy Lai, British citizen, marks his 1,000th day behind bars in Hong Kong. What happened 1,000 days ago?
Yes, so 1,000 days ago on December 31st, 2020, Jimmy Lai was put behind bars for the second time. So after the national security law was passed in Hong Kong in June 2020, Jimmy Lai would have known that he would have been one of the first people to be targeted as the founder of a Hong Kong pro-democracy newspaper, an icon for democracy in Hong Kong, and he was.
And tell me about the significance of his arrest.
Yes, so Jimmy Lai, you have that he's a very successful businessman in Hong Kong. Everyone would know who Jimmy Lai is. He founded the pro-democracy Hong Kong paper Apple Daily and its parent company Next Digital. However, there's more also just to Jimmy Lai's life. Sebastian Lai, his son, was visiting here last week. So he's a father, he's a husband, he's a 75-year-old, and that's also something that isn't being raised as much right now. He does have deteriorating health conditions, yet the Hong Kong government continues to hold him hostage. But Jimmy Lai is and was one of the most outspoken critics of the Hong Kong government. So him being arrested, he would be the symbol of democracy in Hong Kong, especially among the older generation. So him being behind bars, that is the Hong Kong government essentially holding him hostage, because if they can keep Jimmy in prison, they can keep anyone in prison. And Jimmy is one of 1,400 and counting political prisoners in Hong Kong today, which would have never been thought of 4 years ago, 5 years ago in Hong Kong. It would have been like we were in London, in an international city. So yeah, Jimmy Lai is the one that they would have gone after, did go after, and continue to go after today.
What do we know about his health and how he's doing?
Yes, so I don't have any update as of today on Jimmy Lai's health. However, he is a 75-year-old and he had pre-existing health conditions that we knew about. So to be blunt, and his son has been saying this and his international legal team has been saying this in London for the past week, now is the time to do something before Jimmy Lai dies behind bars. And so we're not exactly sure of the conditions of how he has been held, but we hope that, they take action immediately, the British government and the US government and other Western governments around the world.
What do you make of the UK government's response to this?
Yes, so James Cleverly this month when he was in Beijing, he said that he raised Jimmy Lai's case. And also last week we had the 6th monthly report on Hong Kong released, and it mentioned Jimmy Lai's name 11 times, which is more common than not in the past 6 monthly reports. However, we don't know exactly what the UK government's message on Jimmy Lai is. Even the Foreign Secretary saying that he raised Jimmy Lai's case with the Beijing officials. What did he raise specifically? Was it just the consular access? Or did he call for his release? Did he demand that they be held to account for how his treatment and the conditions that he's being held in? So we're not exactly sure what the message is, and that's what we're asking today. James Cleverly, what specifically did you raise with Beijing? What was their response, and what will happen next? And that today being the 1,000th day, being a landmark day in Jimmy Lai's case, 1,000 days in prison, for one day would be too much for him, let alone 1,000 days. So today we're asking what has been said and what will happen next. So to the Foreign Secretary, we're asking him, along with the Prime Minister, who is yet to say Jimmy Lai's name, despite him being a British citizen, we're asking them to call for his unconditional release directly to the Hong Kong authorities. And also, last week, the Secretary for Business and Trade, she appointed a new China and Hong Kong trade czar here in London, despite the conditions in Hong Kong that are deteriorating that we're well aware of. And so Jimmy Lai's son wrote to her and has yet to receive a response, and all he wanted to do was meet. So why is she refusing to meet with Sebastian? Why is James Cleverly refusing to meet with Sebastian? He also had a meeting request to him. So we're just wondering why they're sitting on their hands and what they do plan to do next.
And what do you think is next for UK, China and UK Hong Kong relations?
Yeah, well, obviously we'll have an upcoming change of government potentially. The hope is that things change, that especially honestly being from the States, and there is a far more critical view of the Chinese Communist Party. I would hope that in Britain people do become more aware of that. There seems to be a bit of a lag here. Obviously we're having, there's just so many things outbreaking lately with Chinese interference in Britain, and it is only continuing. So I would hope that especially the officials now, James Cleverly and Rishi Sunak, but whoever steps up into power, and parliamentarians, I would hope that they continue to support Jimmy Lai, to speak out for Hong Kong, to defend Taiwan, and all of the other issues that are on the exterior right now, because that will pave the path for the future. And also it is worth noting, today lots of parliamentarians here in the British Parliament behind me and in the Scottish Parliament, they have made statements, held signs up saying free Jimmy Lai, so they are calling for his release and urging the British government to take action as well. So we are very appreciative of that. So yeah, I would just hope there's more direction that is standing up to Chinese oppression.
Well, Megan Khoo, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Jane.